Welcome to the YWAM Liberty! My name is David Conniff and I'll be your host today. On this video, we're gonna give you an awesome tour of the YWAM Liberty ship so you can see the belly of the beast and see everything that goes on inside our operations on the YWAM Liberty. Through our tour, we're gonna give you fun facts, some history to make sure that you can understand the completeness of this ship. So the YWAM Liberty was given to YWAM in 2017, but the ship was originally built in 1986 and was in operation as a French research vessel in Antarctica. This ship used to travel between Hobart and a French research station that I can't say the name of properly. So we're gonna do a little voiceover here by Siri.
Dumont d'Urville.
That's how you say it properly. So when the ship was then given to YWAM in 2017, YWAM decided to call it the Liberty to continue its French history because the word Liberty has a lot of importance in French culture. Before the ship was called the Liberty, it used to be called astrolabe, which is a word used by mariners to describe an instrument that allows them to find local latitude via the stars. As you can see, as we're walking here, the ship is very long. In fact, it is 65 meters in length, it's 12.8 meters in beam, and it's got a depth of 5.35 meters. For our Americans who are watching this video, it's about 124 feet long, it's about 49 feet wide, and it's got a depth of about 17 feet. So with that said, I hope that you will join me on this tour. Let's get started by walking up this gangplank here and going inside and seeing the ship. Alrighty, welcome to our cargo hold. Now this room has a lot of responsibilities for the ship. One of those responsibilities is holding our cargo or our medical containers. As you can see here, we've got four. Ooh, hello, Paul. As you can see, we have four that are placed here right now. These containers include our pharmacy container where we give out medicine that people may need, our tuberculosis container, our eye surgery container, our dentistry container as well, which is really awesome. This is where we store all of our medical containers and where we're going to do the majority of the surgeries that happen when we go on medical outreach. Now the boat that you see next to me in PNG is called a banana boat. Some of you might know it as a dinghy, but it's called a banana boat because it's very long, like a banana. A banana is also very long. So these boats get launched through those big doors that you see behind me. So we launch these boats during our medical outreaches when we are on anchor and we need to get from the ship to land to be able to bring all of our nurses and our doctors and our medical teams to shore. Now, if you step through this door here, you'll get to see that this area is called our poop deck. This is where all the launching happens. Sometimes when we're on anchor, go for a little swim, which is really fun. I haven't done that yet, but maybe one day. So this is the other side of the cargo hold. We do some of our maintenance work here. So we've got our engine guys who are fixing some of the pipings, doing a lot of welding and grinding. And then this is all the tools for the deck department over here. We got my buddy Josh, who's over there. Hey, Josh. And then we got on this side, we got Stuart and Micah. Hey, boys. They're hard at work. All right. And then the other cool thing that we have here is we got this new sign that tells us the countdown days till sea trials. So sea trials is happening the end of October. We've been working towards this for years, quite literally years. The last time that this ship was on outreach was in 2018. And then since then, there's been a lot of mechanical issues and things that we've had to fix on the ship. And then we got severely delayed by COVID. So we're really excited to finally do sea trials. So we got a counter to show us when that's happening in 13 days from the making of this video. Sea trials is when we take the ship for the first time out into open water and we test everything. We test the engines to make sure they're working. We put a bunch of load on them to make sure they're working peak load. We do a lot of our drills to make sure that we pass inspection and things like that so we can properly function and move on the ship. So now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our admin room, which is through this wonderful little door right here. So let's go check it out. Alrighty, welcome to our admin office. As you can see here, we got some very important people. This is Herbert, our IT specialist, all the way from Norway. We have Steven, all the way from New Jersey, who's our tech admin. And then we have Maddie, who is our purser. So these guys do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of all of the administrative work that goes on here for the ship. And they pretty much do that in this office where they've got all the technical pieces of equipment that they need to do that. So now we're gonna head out the door just behind you and we're gonna keep seeing the ship. So we're going to snake through some of the back corridors here. To my right, we have our provision storeroom. To my left, we've got linen closet and fire gear. And then we're gonna step through here, entering more into our accommodations area. We've got our kitchen, also known as the galley, with our amazing cook, Chris. Say hi, Chris. Yeah, Chris. All right, and we'll come through here. Hey, Brett. And this is our mess room. This is where we eat meals together. So this is the big space that we have for all the crew to come here during meal times so we can enjoy fellowship and a meal together. So we're gonna come through here. We've got our handy dandy whiteboard that tells us amazing announcements. For example, tonight we have a Coke and Boo night. It's where we play mini games to win either a Coke or a Boo. A Boo is a local energy drink from P&G. And then we'll come through here. We've got Romali in our scullery. Hello, Romali. And then we're gonna head this way, keep snaking through some of these corridors. A lot of times when people first come on the ship, they get very confused and lost. That's because there's a lot of different ways you can go around the ship. That also happened to me, so it's natural, it's normal. Don't be worried about it, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna step through this door here. We've got our laundry area here. We got 2 washing machines, 2 dryers, and then baskets of stuff. Very helpful. Gotta do laundry on a ship. Here's Brett again, hi Brett. We're gonna step through here. And then if you've noticed, which you probably haven't, this, right behind this wall is our admin room, where you saw all of those guys working on computers. That's behind this wall. So we've kind of done a little bit of a loop, and that's because we want to take you into the engine room. So now we're going to go through this door, walk down the stairs, and get to the engine room. Coming down into the engine room, you got to be a little bit careful because these stairs are really shallow, because we've now entered the belly of the beast. So come on, follow me. We're going to show you kind of what's in the engine room. You got to watch your head. This place isn't really meant for tall people, so that's kind of unfortunate for me, but it's okay. So we got our 3 generators here, Caterpillar generators, 1, 2, and then 3 all the way in the back there. Number 2 was giving us a little bit of issues for the past couple months, so we finally figured that out, so that's good. And then we're gonna keep walking this way, and we're gonna see, this is our port engine. This ship has 2 shafts to it, run by 2 big engines. We got 1 engine here, and the other engine is on this side. We have our starboard engine here. Now, if you know anything about engines or ships, and you're watching this video, you're probably thinking to yourself, wow, these engines are absolutely ginormous for this size of ship. And that's correct, because when this ship was originally built, it was meant as an icebreaker, class A super. I don't really know what that means, but it sounds cool. Anyway, so when this was first put together, power output of these engines had to be so great that when the ship encountered ice, it could ram up onto the ice, and then the weight of the ship would break the ice so that it could keep moving through the Antarctic. Now, if you're an engine guy like me, you would find it fascinating that these engines output over 6,000 horsepower, which is absolutely insane. And then as you can see over here, this is where the shaft to the propeller starts. So it goes right between my feet here, whoop, and then it goes back behind this wall. Now the shafts continue all the way to the propellers, and then we've got some controls back there for our capstan and things like that. And there's 2 emergency exits, so if you were to take these ladders and go that way, you would see all of that, but it's really cramped back there and not super interesting, so we're gonna avoid going back there, but just know that all that stuff is in fact back there. So we're gonna keep going this way, and we're gonna start making our way back. This is our osmosis machine. So this turns seawater into fresh water for us. So as we're sailing, we can make our own fresh water, which is really helpful so we can maintain livable standards on the ship. So everybody can take a shower, because you know, at the end of the day, you stank. Nobody wants that. So we're gonna now head to the front area of the belly of the ship. Keep passing our generators here, like I said. This number 2 gave us a little bit of trouble, but she's good now, so that's awesome. And we're back where we started. So the engine room, kind of like a big circle. All right, so now we're gonna head to the front of the ship. We're gonna go through this little tunnel here, and I'll show you the workshop. All right, so if you go through this door, you can see our workshop. This is where all of the engineers host their tools, and we've got some fun machine equipment. Now we're gonna go right behind the camera again, and we're gonna see what's called the cement room. Now it's called the cement room because these big things right here are what used to hold cement to help weigh the ship down so that the ship doesn't move as much in the ocean, and it's a little bit more stable. So these things used to be filled with cement. We don't fill them anymore because we don't really need to bring cement anywhere. But then also back here houses ropes and hoses and pumps and all that kind of stuff. So we call this area the lower cement room, and then we'll go up these stairs to see the upper cement room. All right, so now we're in the upper cement room. Now, a really fun thing is this sign right behind me. It's our safety sign. Don't forget your PPE. You want to make sure you're always wearing your PPE, like me. Got my boots on. All right, so this is the upper cement room. This houses our windlass, which helps us move ropes at the front of the ship. And then again, we've got extension cords and spare parts and all that jazz behind me and around me. So that's a lot to see, but it's kind of boring. So we're gonna keep going, making our way through the upper cement room, remembering to stay low because we're tall and ships aren't meant for tall people. We're gonna step through this door here, and this is our refrigeration area. To my left and your right, this is our fridge. And then to my right and your left, we have the freezer, which is through that big door over there. And then through this door, we have our emergency fire pump, which is really important in case any emergency happens and our regular fire pumps fail. We have an emergency one that's typically away from where a fire would normally happen, so we can get that up and running and make sure to put out any fire that happens. And then also down below, we have our massive bow thruster. So a bow thruster is a big motor and propeller that moves the bow of the ship different ways. So when you're coming into a dock, it's very helpful because it helps you move the boat laterally instead of forward and backward like it normally does. So that's all housed up here. So we're gonna head up these stairs and get back to the accommodations area, which hopefully you'll recognize. All right, so we've just come out of the belly of the beast. It's pretty hot down there, so I'm glad to be back in the AC. So this is half of our accommodations, and then we're gonna go up these stairs to see the other half of the accommodations area. Now we've reached the second floor accommodations area. This is where a lot of the rooms are. So we've got different rooms. Some of them have titles, like this one. It says second engineer. So we know our second engineer lives here. And then some of the rooms don't because they were added later in the lifespan of the boat. But we're gonna keep coming this way, down this hallway. So our accommodation area has a lot of different cabins. They vary in size. Some have 1 bunk, some have 6 bunks. On the interior side of the accommodations is where all of our toilets and showers and things like that are. So as you can see, we have a toilet here. We have AC, which is nice to stay cool. And then on our second floor, it's also awesome because we've got a special room for all of the crew, which is right through this door here. This is our lounge area. So this is where we come to do all of our devotions, our worship and prayer nights. We also just hang out here. If you turn around, you'll see that we've got a big screen TV, some awesome amenities like our espresso machine. So that's just kind of a nice atmosphere for the crew to come and hang out during their downtime and kind of get to know each other. So now we're gonna head outside, out of the accommodations area and to our heli deck. So now we're out on our heli deck. This is called the Heli Deck because it used to be the place where helicopters would land. We used to have a helicopter pad just beyond these containers here, but now we use these containers for storage. The other fun thing about our heli deck is that we've got an opening straight into the cargo hold. So right here, this massive block of steel can actually be lifted off by our crane, and then we can lower all the cargo and containers that we need to straight in the cargo hold, which makes it really easy to load and unload big pieces of equipment. Now, I'd mentioned our crane. You can find our crane right here. It's our big red crane. It's pretty easy to spot whenever you see the ship on land. It's kind of like our hallmark feature, which is really cool. And so now we're gonna go up the stairs that are back here and see the next deck area called the funnel deck. The funnel deck! So this is our funnel deck here. We've got our 2 harbor generators. These run throughout the day and the night to give us all the power. Now these are a lot more fuel efficient than the big generators down in the engine room. If we're to run the engines in the engine room, they would probably use about 1,000 liters of fuel a day, which is a lot. These guys use about 300 liters a day, and they provide the same amount of power output needed to just sustain living on board. Now, if we need to start the main engines, put big compressors online, then we'll turn these off and we'll turn on the main generators because they can handle that much load, whereas these can't handle as much load. As we continue on our funnel deck, you'll see our 2 big exhaust stacks for our main engines over here. This is also the air intake for those engines as well. And then we're gonna follow these stairs down. We'll show you our life raft. So in case we abandon ship, we have 2 big life boats on either side of the bridge. The bridge is this big square looking box there. Each capacity of these lifeboats are 32 persons, so we can easily fit every crew on board in case there is some type of emergency like that. But we do drills so that hopefully emergencies like that don't actually happen. And we'll come up here to our bridge. So now we're gonna check out our bridge. This is the main command area of a ship. So like I said before, this is our bridge. We have our main control panel up here. So this is where all the steering of the ship happens. We have these, of course, the classic steering wheel. Then we've got the controls to move the two engines for thrust. And then some other things like navigation and radios and things like that. And then we have a bunch of safety equipment on board as well, such as EPIRBs and SARTs and things like that. And then we'll go through here, we'll see our second mate, Danny. What a legend of a guy. We have more radio equipment here. And then back here, we've got more control equipment underneath these boards if we need to. Sometimes we do different calls and things up here as well. So now we're gonna head back downstairs. So now we've just exited the bridge and are back on our second level of the accommodations area. You wanna follow me this way? This front area houses a lot of our important mariners, such as the chief engineer. This is our captain's cabin over here. First mate stays here. Some of the cadets and GPs stay here. Now, the one thing I haven't mentioned about the accommodations area yet is that we can hold up to 60 crew on board, which is awesome because we'll need that many people when we do medical outreaches. So now we're gonna exit one of our side doors to our accommodations area. Pull the lever here, push out the door, and let's go check out the bow of the ship. So in this area of the ship, we want to make sure we keep our doors closed and sealed so we keep the AC inside the accommodations area. Now, the fun thing is if you go down these stairs here, you'll get back to the cargo hold where we started, or we can go out this door and see the bow of the ship. All right, so now we're towards the bow of the ship. This is just kind of one of the walkways that takes us there. Like I said before, tall people in ships, they don't like to mix, they can mix. I've had a fantastic time on this ship. But if you are tall and you come join us, which I really hope you consider doing, just be aware. You've got to kind of watch your head on a lot of things that are here. So now we've made it to the bow of the ship. As you can see here, we've got our ropes that hold the ship in place. We have our two anchor winches, which lower and raise our anchors. These are hydraulic, which makes it a lot easier. And then we've got some of our cleats that hold our ropes and essentially the bow. And that's pretty much it. If you turn around, you can see the bridge where we just were. This is pretty much the end of our tour. If you come this way, you can see why, and that is because that's where we started our tour. So we've made it full circle without getting off the boat. So thanks for joining us for our tour. I hope you really liked it, and I hope you will consider joining YWAM Liberty because we'd love to have you as a volunteer on this ship. Thanks for watching. Catch. Oh my gosh, what's over there? Subscribe.